Congressman Rodney Davis helped craft that very plan and joins us now. Welcome, Congressman.
Well, thank you, Sean, for having me on.
All right, so your plan has 4 phases to get the Congress back to doing business. It deals with committee structure and what committees should meet in terms of the ones that have priority for coronavirus, using the big rooms, a lot of this stuff. What has been the reaction so far from your colleagues in the majority in particular?
Well, unfortunately, the majority put out a very terse statement, and our plan was multiple pages, very well laid out. It was the 4 parts that you mentioned. We've already implemented some parts already by having social distancing and keeping votes open longer, having it in an orderly manner, cleaning voting machines in between a vote. But the majority, instead of looking at our plan that I thought was very bipartisan and very friendly to their needs, they decided to say that it just wasn't enough and that we ought to just do remote technology without taking into consideration the crawl, walk, run approach that we lay out in our plan that would protect us from cyber attacks and ensure that members of Congress could do their job effectively.
You know, you mentioned the cyber attacks. I think one of the things that you point out in there, because on its face, it seems pretty simple. Why doesn't Congress just meet by, Zoom or whatever that everyone else is using? What is the downside to doing that?
Well, number one, the House has its own network, and every month we have 1.6 billion cyber attack attempts. Again, that's 1.6 billion attempts at hacking the House network every single month. If we just decide to use technology that hasn't been vetted through our House processes, we run the risk of nefarious actors or nation states trying to disrupt what we do in Congress. Really, we've got to come up with an idea of what do we want Congress to look like. And frankly, our rules don't allow technology to be used for voting. We don't allow proxy voting, and that's something I'm glad we don't allow. We took it away when Republicans took over in 1995. And really, Sean, the way to get back to getting away from only trillion-dollar bills is to get our committees working again, which is why we suggested that.
Okay, so you're in the minority. You are the ranking member on the Administration Committee, which kind of oversees how Congress operates. What has been the reaction, though, of Democrats, Speaker Pelosi and others who are in the majority? If they don't like your plan, what's theirs?
Well, we're still waiting on it. I was kind of hoping their statement today would lay out their plan. Really, just a week ago, they told us we would be back in D.C. today. And then less than 24 hours, they changed their mind. So we anticipate coming back next Monday. But as the Democrat majority has told us before and has acted, we don't know. I firmly believe that they want to negotiate a package that is going to be negotiated at the leadership level. They want to propose a Democrat liberal wish list that's going to do things like take over our nation's election process. And they want to be able to bring everybody back to vote up or down on that bill. That's not how Congress should operate. If you want to watch how Congress operates, get our committees working again in a bipartisan way.
Congressman, do you think there's any concern? I mean, you've got 435 members of Congress flying back into town. They've been in their various states and districts. You've got to have staff, and I don't mean just your staff in particular, but like the Capitol Police, the stenographers, all of the support staff. Do you think that there's a concern that all of these people are getting put at risk, or are there enough procedures put in place to make sure that someone doesn't come back and infect everybody?
Well, there's always risk. Look, my wife is a nurse. She gets up every day to go to work and works at a facility that treats active COVID-19 patients. She comes home every night. She doesn't quarantine herself for 14 days just because she went to work. She follows the proper processes and procedures to mitigate her risk of getting the virus while she takes care while she's at a facility that takes care of patients. Now, we showed a week and a half ago that we can bring members of Congress back, do it safely through the air or through the vehicles or via train, via mass transit that's still going. And we were able to put together processes that are going to mitigate the risk of anybody of spreading the disease by having proper sanitation stations, proper social distancing measures, and the encouragement of wearing masks where necessary. But remember, Congress as we know it, Sean, when you and I first met years ago, is much different than when we left it on March 13th. Every single office is almost all teleworking. So there aren't the people around that would stop us from social distancing.
Congressman, before I let you go, just a quick yes or no. I know the House was offered these quick, rapid COVID tests, and Speaker Pelosi turned them down. Was that a smart move?
No.
Right. Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you for your leadership on this. I hope to see you back in Washington soon when it's safe, and stay safe back in your district.
Thank you. You too, Sean.
Thank you.